This is welcome back, and this is a lightning session. There are a series of speakers and 5 minutes presentation. No questions now. You can hold your questions because each presenter will present. It's really lightning, right? Some of the speakers asked me, introducing will take 5 minutes. When can I present? Then I said, you can say hi, bye, right? So it's up to the presenters. And after that, we will have 1 hour discussion. And also, I was told that the food will be provided. You can have leisurely talk with each speaker, whom you want to talk. You have 1 hour. Even after 1 hour, you can still talk, right? So for the speakers, you have 5 minutes, and your timer is shown here. And once you finish, you can, after your talk, you can go the other side. Please come, because we want to see that time is wisely used. The next speaker will go to the stage, right? I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Tandabany, Dinadayalane Tandabany, Professor of Chemistry from Clark Atlanta University, Atlanta. I have been in the cyber physical system, cyber infrastructure, using cyberspace long time, right? I have my co-moderator with me.
All right, thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone. So happy to be here. I am Dion Kerbeam. I am from the illustrious Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland, and I am proud to be the Chief Information Officer and Vice President for Information Technology. Are we excited for Lightning Talks? Are we excited for Lightning Talks? Are we excited for Lightning Talks? Yes, because we're going to bring the energy, because we have some fantastic speakers from some amazing universities that's going to come and wow us this afternoon. And without further ado, I would like to present our very first individual. He says that he is the Al Capone of STEM education. So I'm going to believe him with that. No, he is truly amazing. From Jackson State University, Imad Aleithawe. Let's give him a round of applause.
Talking about throwing you under the bus. You didn't tell us about how to do the slides. We don't have a slide, right? Do we? Yes. Okay. Just checking. Oh, here it is. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying this conference. So I'm going to make it short. I'm going to talk about transformation of transmission of approach of the AI into STEM education. And I'm going to talk about from the industry perspective on that. So with no further ado. Why is it imperative that we have to integrate AI into STEM now? What's the purpose? Why now? Because AI transforming the world faster than any technology before it. And according to the statistics, that in the next decades, 80% of the jobs will be AI augmented. What that means, all the students need to learn and need to have that AI literacy now, before even, it doesn't matter what field they enter. How that helps them, oh, I forgot about my slides. What I do, just move it next. Oh, here it is. Okay, never mind, sorry. Don't count that against my 5 minutes. So it will help the students in critical thinking, finding, what do you call it, problem-solving solution, and global competitiveness in the marketplace. That all depends on that approach or that integration. So what does integration means, or it looks like? It goes beyond just trying to code or how to code. It has more, deeper meaning. What do you call it? The approaches emphasize project-based learning, hands-on, workshops, interdisciplinary connections, and hands-on tools that make the AI tangible for the students. They can see what they're doing. They can use that to analyze data, for example, environmental data, or they can design smart city solutions. They can even create AI, what do you call it, powered art. What's the benefits for integration, integrating that AI into STEMs? For the students, it will give them power, will increase student engagement, deeper conceptual understanding, future-proof skill sets. It gives the students like this notion of wow factor into that. For the educators, it is not an added burden on you. Take it as an opportunity to learn new skills on how to educate, how to create dynamic material for the classroom. And believe me, that learning experience will resonate with the students. I've been doing that for 15 years. With the magnitude of this transformation and change, it comes challenges. I always say, because I'm a civil engineer and I'm a practitioner, I say no project is without risk. Every project has a risk. So similarly with the integration, it has some risk. Identify the teacher training gaps. There's a huge gap in there that need to be fulfilled. Resource and infrastructure limitations. Developing curriculum is not that easy, as people think. It has a lot of hurdles into it. Not to mention ethical considerations. We have to teach the students that, ethics is important. So what next? Next step. Encourage stakeholders to start small, but think large, or you can say big things start with small ideas. Education policies. We need to talk to parents. We need to talk to policymakers. Educate them about AI. And then 2 seconds. Overall message I want to send you that integration AI into STEM, it is not optional. It's essential for preparing students for future as a leadership. So that was lightning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was lightning, really. Thank you. Our next speaker is Kishan Alexander. It's up to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kishan Alexander, two-time HBCU graduate, Morehouse College in North Carolina A&T, tech professional, and a nonprofit founder. Today, my presentation is about friction to flight. So HBCUs leveraging AI to strengthen student readiness and institutional capacity. So the center of the work is surrounding how do we reduce friction inside institutions so that students and the faculty can move faster toward opportunity. Across HBCUs, they produce extraordinary talent from its faculty to its students. Yet there is processes that are within these institutions that continue to still have slow momentum and limit scale. This comes from fragmented systems, continued manual workflows, limited cyber infrastructure inside of its tech spaces, and also reactive decisions from the administration. So the challenge here is not that AI needs to be necessarily adopted, but how it's orchestrated within the institution. So I propose a 5-step practical AI integration model. First, starting with collect. Institutions already have a lot of valuable data, but it's about how it's collected across the scale. And so the second step would be translating that data so that it's normalized and is able to be utilized across the institution for AI-ready formatting. Third, recommend. Once these patterns become visible, institutions can provide evidence-based solutions for its faculty, for its staff, and its students. Fourth, reducing that friction. So this includes automating repetitive workflows, eliminating those bottlenecks within the institutions, and allowing the staff to focus more on its strategic goals and plans for the institution. And lastly, measuring impact. Based on this data, how do we continue to scale? How do we continue to improve our institutions? So where I feel like AI creates immediate value for this is in 2 places. One, research capacity and its student success. And so from a research capacity perspective, it's first grant opportunity matching for its faculty. Those faculty members that may be doing research on behalf of the college and the institution, being able to match them with opportunities that continue to help them provide that research for the institution as well as for themselves. Also, proposal draft supporting, again, being able to support those proposals from those staff members. Also, research trend analysis, so being able to take a look at that research that these staff members are doing and being able to provide HBCUs with a competitive advantage with that research. And lastly, just being able to automate the progress that these faculty members are making from their research. And then on the other side is the student success. So being able to take a look at early risk signals for students that may be failing classes, falling behind with their work, and being able to mitigate those crises with these students before things get too far. Also, career pathways. I know we have Handshake in some of our institutions, but we can build systems within ourselves to be able to cut out those middlemen. Third, internship matching. So students, that is the most pivotal thing for them as they are inside of these institutions, is being able to get to that next step. And so being able to provide them with a set of skills and interests that match the things that they're looking for is crucial. And so we must strengthen our agency and not replace it. Deploying AI at our institutions demands some ethics and some integrity, and also just a scalable infrastructure. So these 5 things are important when we think about implementing these things within our institution. And last but not least, AI can be seen as a force multiplier for HBCUs. So focusing on creating scalable solutions so that we're not continuing to have those bottlenecks and continuing to scale. Also putting ethics at the forefront, making sure that things are secure and things are also equitable across students and the faculty and staff. Also being resource conscious. Obviously, we deal with different dollars than some other institutions. So making sure that we build these systems with the resources and those constraints potentially in mind. And lastly, just making sure that we're actionable, making sure that we can apply these things today and be able to scale tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent job. Now we will have from Coppin State University, Dr. Bailey and Ms. Kayla Green. Give them a round of applause.
Access to technology is no longer an option. It is essential for success. My name is Dondra Bailey, and this is Kayla Green. We are co-presenters for our project on advancing digital literacy beyond access, a campus community hub model. We have a grant that was funded by the NTIA CMC that was called Connect Eagle Nation. We focused on computer outreach, computer distribution, as well as a cyber apprenticeship program. Over 1,400 laptops were given to anchor communities in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. In our pilot program, we recognize access to technology directly shapes academic success. So we moved to make an impactful difference for sustainability through Connect Eagle Nation. We made an intentional choice to embed digital hubs in the Coppin State University community. Ms. Kayla Green will now tell you more about those hubs.
All right, so going right into the hubs. As you know, digital hubs help to create more access. Digital equity in itself is definitely a holistic approach and is necessary for us to continue to grow within the digital space. For our hubs, we focused on Coppin State Library as well as our Science and Technology Center with loaner devices that community members as well as students can use. And this is what hopes with continuing our work from our CMC grant to just be able to keep the community and our students connected. We also focused on keeping digital navigators involved within the space. We actually have two in the audience here, Denali and Maddox, who both have gotten internships for the summer, so we are really proud of them. Thank you. Just if you want to give a hand of applause for them, but thank you. We're excited for them. And then also a big deal, we use software such as Prey and Deep Freeze. One of the big things that we had to take into consideration was how do we do digital hubs and still keep the security factor and be able to open up access to community. And so Deep Freeze allows us to, after each session, to kind of clear out that browser and everything, that whole sign-on, log back in process. And then Prey allows us, in the event since we're loaning it, if it comes missing, being able to track it down. And that was a big part we had to consider because we wanted to remove the barrier of if you can't sign in, you can't use a device with us. And that was a big part in regards to our digital hubs. We also have our Connect Eagle Nation ADA compliant privacy pod. This is a great space in the sense of people can go and do interviews there, our students if they have a telehealth appointment, so it gives privacy in the sense of being able to go in a space that's a bit concealed and just being able to knock out an interview and things of that nature. And that was a big piece that we felt very critical about, especially being ADA compliant. And on another note, since I'm mentioning accessibility, I also want to say with our devices, one of the things we're learning having a digital hub is the important things for certain accessibility features software-wise to make sure to have. So if someone is hard of hearing or even if someone is blind, what are the things that we need to consider with our technology is also a phase that we're at with implementing that into our hubs as well. And so Connect Eagle Nation, our community impact, we have been about increasing device and digital access, expanding workforce development. We have done that through our digital navigators. We also did that through our tech programming where community members and students were allowed to get certifications and really being able to support students and community members as well as telehealth and online learning. So a big part of the work that we've done is a holistic approach. Sustainability is really important for us, especially in 2026, there isn't equity without digital access, and we know that digital access is needed across the board, from healthcare to the school system, to even wraparound services. If someone needs to apply for care to be able to get food, if someone needs to apply to be able to get the discounted daycare and all of those things. So all of those things we consider within our hub. So digital equity definitely is a long-term commitment, and we hope to sustain it.
We hope to sustain it and empower our academic community. We hope to sustain it and empower it with our academic community at Coppin State University. Learn more about our digital hubs. Visit us at our deep dive table and explore Connect Eagle Nation digital hubs and expanding access. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. Our next presenter is Stacy Hollins from Harris-Stowe State University. Big round of applause.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Stacy G. Hollins, and I serve at Harris-Stowe State University as Associate Provost and Dean of the Business School. So once upon a time at an academy not so far away, there was a scholar, a junior, a strong writer, quiet, the kind of scholar who did the work, turned it in, and trusted the process. One day she submitted an assignment, and someone in the academy decided with no proof, no investigation, and no conversation with anyone that she had used AI. She received a 0. No call to the chair, dean, provost, just a decision. Word eventually reached a guide of the academy. And for one brief moment, the guide thought, surely this is someone else's academy, not ours. but deep down she knew better. This was not just about one assignment, one faculty member, or one scholar. It was about the academy itself. So the next week, the guide convened a council: academic affairs, IT, legal, faculty development, student success, career services, everyone who helped to hold the academy together. And in that first meeting, they made one decision: no more solo calls. If AI was going to enter the gates of the castle, the academy needed more than fear, suspicion, and scattered decisions. That was the first stone. 2 weeks later, another professor came to the guide's office. She had been quietly using AI all semester, but was afraid to tell anyone. She thought she was breaking the rules, but she wasn't. She was teaching. Her scholars used AI to draft and revise their own work. They created quizzes for themselves, and they explained and defended their reasoning out loud in class. They were sharper because of it. So the guide and council did what all wise academies do when they find treasure. They cashed it in and found some more. They gathered examples from brave faculty all around the campus. They showed that AI did not have to weaken learning, that it could actually deepen learning. That was the second stone. A month later, the guide sat in an advisory board meeting, and one of the employers leaned forward and said, "I don't need students to know everything about AI. I need them to know how to think with it, partner with it, strategize with it, and learn from it." The academy realized it did not need a whole new castle. It just needed the rooms improved that it already had. So they added stackable credentials to the programs that were already serving their scholars. They allowed scholars to walk into interviews with more than just knowledge and confidence. They actually had evidence. That was the third stone. The guide kept coming back to the scholar who received the 0 because she knew she was not the only one. The council pulled the data, and the pattern was there. Students being accused were not random. They had commonalities. That's when they knew this could not only be a policy conversation, it also had to be an equity conversation. So they built a foundation. Every scholar would receive the same access, training, and scaffolding on day one, because no scholar in the academy should have less support than the scholar sitting next to them. That was the fourth stone. Then the accreditation cycle arrived, and every academy knows what that looks like. The evidence, the documentation, the proof that you said you were doing, that you were doing what you said you were doing, and that it was actually happening. But this time, the report almost wrote itself. Every meeting had been documented with AI, every pilot had a metric, every decision was on record, every lesson had a place to go. The same infrastructure built for faculty and scholars had quietly strengthened accreditation, board reporting, and strategic planning. 5 stones: a steering team, faculty enablement, workforce alignment, equity by design, and operational excellence. That is the blueprint. AI is here. As our opening keynote speaker stated this morning, we must accelerate our response. Will fear make our decisions? Will scholars and faculty be left to figure it out on their own? Or will we gather the right people, build the right systems, and turn what looks like a threat into academic infrastructure? And for HBCUs, the work is deeply tied to our mission. Our institutions have always prepared scholars for futures that they have often been excluded from shaping. So we must build with intention, we must build with equity, and we must build with courage. The blueprint is on the table. Let us build.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful storytelling of how to build the keys in the kingdom. I love that. Now we will have MSCC's own Jessica Johnson. Let's give her a round of applause.
Alrighty. Oops, excuse me. All right, good afternoon, you all. Again, I'm Jessica Johnson. I'm a Cyberinfrastructure Facilitator with the MSCC team, and I'm here to just share with you some materials and resources from year 3 of our CI Planning Community of Practice. Just for some details about this community of practice, this is a convening that brings together institutions, whether that be IT professionals, practitioners, faculty, researchers, students, pretty much anyone within the MSCC community comes together in this monthly convening to meet about various strategies and best practices that can be used to enhance cyber infrastructure planning on their campuses. So I'll get started by showing some of the topics that we've covered over the last year. The slide's a little bit misaligned, but that's all right. So we'll see that there's been quite a few different topics that we've covered. Just to highlight a few, we'll do some recaps from community events such as Community Exchange that Internet 2 host. There's other sessions that we'll hold. We had a joint MSCC Community of Practice on AI policy, but we also had some sessions focused on planning and kind of a welcome back as the semester began so that people can plan for funding that they wanted to apply for and also just look at their cyber infrastructure goals for that semester and the rest of that academic year. Throughout the next few slides, I'm just going to highlight a few of our notable presentations that we've had in this community of practice. Back in September of last year, we actually had some individuals from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. They joined us to talk about research data storage, which, as we all know in this room, is very important for pretty much all campuses. They're looking for new strategies to enhance storage at their institution. So that QR code will actually take you to a folder that will have the slides and recording for that particular session. In November, we were joined by our partners over at CARC, who shared about the CARC capabilities model. And this capabilities model helps institutions strengthen their research computing and cyber infrastructure capacity across looking at different organizational, technical, and operational areas of interest. So again, that QR code there has the direct link to those materials from that session. In February of this year, so kind of jumping ahead, we were joined by Terry Haygood, who is the wonderful CI facilitator over at Jackson State, and he shared about various approaches that he's used in his work to determine CI requirements for their campus. So again, the materials and resources are linked. And lastly, what I'll showcase is in April, we were joined by Dr. Joshua Winchell from Texas A&M, who shared about the NSF Access Program and how you can access the ACES cluster through Access, utilizing your Access CI credentials. So again, this was another really great presentation we have. I'd actually be remiss to mention that we, just last week, we were joined by Purdue to talk about the Anvil Supercomputing Center as well. So those are materials that we have available on our CI planning agenda document that is publicly available to the community. So lastly, I'll just mention that we have some various upcoming topics of interest that the community has expressed as they've participated in the CI planning community of practice. As you can see, the last few themes we've had over the last couple months have been focused specifically on high performance computing. Again, we looked at the ACES cluster, but also the Anvil supercomputing system over at Purdue. But there's also some interest in quantum computing, library collaborative support, as well as facilitation best practices. One last plug. There will be a session tomorrow about facilitation. But yes, we encourage you all to join the community of practice. This is a really great opportunity for you all to connect with like-minded individuals and just share the work that you're doing on your campus to plan for cyber infrastructure, but also hear what other folks are doing within the community. So it's a really great time. We meet for 1 hour each month, the third Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, that's my lightning talk. Thank you.
Jessica, thank you. Our next speaker, two speakers from Texas Southern University, Jordan Johnson and Maya Talbot.
Hello, my name is Jordan Johnson. I am a senior attending Texas Southern University, majoring in chemistry with a minor in biology.
Hi, my name is Maya Talbot. I attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I'm a graduate. And my major was biology with a concentration of pre-dentistry.
So we completed this research last summer at the MSCC internship with Fitz and Meharry. So our project is titled Stream Flow Prediction Using Graph Neural Networks and Climate Data basically teaching AI to read rivers. So we were trying to see if we could use the data from last night to prevent the flooding of tomorrow. Oh, yeah, I like that.
Okay, so our results showed that the GNN models were successful at learning spatial and temporal relationships between river basins. However, the GNNs did not outperform the linear regression model in this specific experiment. This suggests that while advanced deep learning models are powerful, simpler models can still perform very well, especially on smaller data sets. In the future, we would like to scale the study to hundreds of basins, explore more advanced graph construction methods, and in conclusion, overall, this project demonstrated the potential of graph neural networks for hydrology and environmental forecasting, while also highlighting the challenges of applying complex models to limited data sets.
Yes, so if you just look at the results, the yellow or orange is what we predicted, and the blue is what actually happened. So you see we're way off. Well, not really way off, but we have the peaks where it's supposed to peak, but in our project, we only use 25 river basins. So we're thinking for the future, maybe if we did more, it would become more accurate, because you see the AI, it got the flow of what we're trying to do. It saw when the floods were coming, all of this, but we just didn't use enough river basins. So for the future, we'll try to do that. So yes, thank y'all.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. Next, we will have from Jackson State University, Francis Tuluri.
Good afternoon. My lightning talk is on environmental sensing, Internet of Things system as a pathway to institutionally scalable infrastructure shared research. I am Francis Tuluri, faculty and professor at Jackson State University, Department of Civil Engineering, Environmental Engineering, Industrial Systems, and Technology, a long name anyway. This a little bit of collaboration is over there. I will skip that. What is the abstract is about? The industry of Internet of Things covers many areas of STEM disciplines, such as embedded electronic system, big data management, data science analytics, cloud computing, AI and ML, prediction analytics. So there is a need for data-intensive research leading to impediments that are there, basically cyber infrastructure, in research advancements in the area of IoT, particularly in research and education in many universities. This proposal is based on addressing how to overcome the disconnect by establishing institutionally sustainable pathways to shared research computing and data infrastructure that lower barriers to participants without requiring exclusive dependence on national allocation. Next slide, how do I get this? Yeah. So this is an AI-generated image. It is not my own, but it uncovers pretty much the whole methodology that I have been using for my work. So basically, you see that there is a sensor node to collect the data, local data. I'm basically focusing on the environmental data. In this study, I'm focusing on the air quality data. Now, once you have a sensor node, a local sensor node, then you pipeline to upload it on the cloud. But there is a scheme to do that. Basically, is a web-based MQTT system where you can take the sensor data and upload onto the cloud. And once you have the cloud, you have data memory storage there, and you can do a lot of analytics. and there is a AAML prediction there, and visualization possibilities are there. But the point is now why you need this, why you need a sensor data, why you need a local sensor data when you have some national agencies that are giving you air quality data, for example. Of course, you can also expand to another data systems as well. But in particular, air quality, when you see that EPA, for example, has very limited number of stations in each state, particularly in USA. In Mississippi, we have very limited stations. So what I'm going to do is take the satellite data, which covers geospatial, and use EPA stations and embed the local sensor data and increase the geospatial density so that I can use AAML to interpolate the data regionally. So that is the main point. So once you have a geospatial interpolation, you have a wide range data coverage of the information. So that is the main tool that I've been using. And this I already covered, how you collect the data, how you ingest the data, how you send to the big data information on the cloud, and then how do you do the analytics. I'll skip a little bit, and then there are many details, what kind of sensors you use, and there are a wide variety of sensors. We have done 2-3 different models, and this is a little bit additional, I don't know, a little bit expansion of the same methodology into a little bit different stages, hardware there. So that is IoT involves a lot of things. Electronics is there, designing thing is there, programming is there, microcomputer programming is there, microprocessor programming is there, Python for the data analytics and all kind of stuff. And in particular, the back-end orchestration is our design to collect the sensor data and upload to the cloud. So I will not go into the details. And this is the a sample of the data nodes that we have deployed, and we can expand this and into our future system. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next speaker, 2 speakers from North Carolina A&T University, Alexandria Ruth and Karis Taylor. A big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me try that again. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. We welcome you all to our presentation. We're so excited to be sharing with you measuring cyber infrastructure effectiveness at the North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. Thank you. So my name is Karis. It's like Paris with a K. I'm a 3rd-year doctoral student in counselor education and supervision, and I'm a licensed clinical mental health associate. Very excited to be with you all today.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexandria Ruth, and I just recently graduated with my master's from A&T in agricultural and environmental systems with a concentration in agribusiness and food industry management. And in the fall, I'll be pursuing my PhD in agribusiness and applied economics. So together, Karis and I, we've been working on this project focused on measuring cyber infrastructure effectiveness at A&T specifically.
So one of the things that we've been focused on is developing a transformative initiative to really expand the research capacity at the central hub of our library, which is the FD Bluford Library. So we have been engaging with students, with faculty, IT professionals to really work on a strong cyber infrastructure map that looks at the different gaps and the things that we're missing so we can have a strong impact on the research success for the future. So we're hoping that this will serve as an expandable model for other HBCUs, TCUs, and also MSIs to advocate and support for peer mentorship, knowledge transfer, and other great things.
Yeah, so the main goal of this project is to enhance campus Cyberinfrastructure and improve research accessibility for students and faculty. So we also aim to strengthen collaboration between students, IT leadership, and available campus resources. So another important objective is developing workshops and training opportunities that help students build technical and research-related skills. So through this project, we also hope to identify gaps that may impact research success and support more data-driven scholarship across the campus.
So we wanted to, you guys can still hear me, right? We wanted to show you all some of the questions that me and Alex had been working on for the students, undergrad and graduate students. So which skills do you most want to improve on? So if you look at some of the answer choices, it could be statistical analysis, coding, finding and evaluating scholarly resources. So if you guys went to that great talk that Dr. Patterson had talked about earlier, he had showed some of the results from the faculty. And later on, we'll be showing some of the results from the students.
Yeah, so this survey question specifically focused on understanding what type of support students feel would help them develop research and technical skills more effectively. So options included hands-on workshops, like I mentioned before, tutorials, self-paced modules, tutoring, and peer learning opportunities. So questions like this are important because they help us better understand how students prefer to learn and what resources may be most effective in supporting their academic and research success.
So what are some of the progress and key accomplishments? So like I mentioned earlier, developing some questions for undergraduate and graduate students. Alex and I have been trying our best to reach out to chairs, deans, university communications, because we want to know, what can we be doing better? How can we enhance? What can we do for the students, and what can we do for ourselves, being students ourselves? So community outreach, and so far we've received over 70 responses on Qualtrics, and we're hoping to get a lot more, but this has been a great start.
Yeah, so thank you all for listening and allowing us to share our project today. We appreciate the opportunity to discuss ways to strengthen CI and research support at NCA&T. We would be happy to answer any questions during the deep dive session.
Aggie Pride.
Excellent. Another excellent presentation. Thank you both so much. Now, Travis, are you ready? You ready? Okay. So, he was ready. I was just messing with him. So now for 525 Technologies, we have Travis Bozeman coming to the stage. Give him a round of applause.
Good evening. So I want to take everyone back to, you can't say in 2026 because everyone binges shows now, but back to when you were watching shows when you were little, and just when it got to that really good part, it went to commercial. This message is brought to you by 525 Technologies. I don't have shiny presentations. You have me. I often share with my team that working from a technology standpoint, providing devices to kids, students, instructors, being able to give them the tools they need to instruct, that we're part of something that's bigger than ourselves. We really get to impact others. And I think we shared that with everyone in this room. So I want to take a moment to say thank you for all that you do in our universities and our colleges throughout. So back to the who is 525 Technology message. We have two signature programs that we use within 525 Technologies. One is our Shield Care, and one is our ClassWatch. Those are our programs that we use from a managed services and also providing technology products for schools. We work with quite a bit of our HBCUs, some other colleges honestly throughout the United States, and hoping to build that platform with some of our partners here. Signature products, Shield Care, we really get a chance to dive into the new features, especially from an AI standpoint. We talk about license plate recognition, facial, gunshot, everything. We get to work with our universities to enhance their current systems. So from a reselling standpoint, we're working with Avigilon, Axis, across the board to make sure that those campuses are safe. So that's one thing that we do from a technology standpoint. The other side is on our Shield Care, our ClassWatch. ClassWatch is essentially that within the classroom. Any technology product within your classroom, we actually offer a managed service or support around that. We've worked quite a bit with some of our HBUs to put some really impressive Zoom rooms with confidence monitors to really expand what we're doing in the classrooms, as well as wireless projects, staff augmentation, you name it from in that classroom, we offer a level of support. Our biggest thing is really partnership. Oftentimes, our customers are sometimes the forgotten customers. If that isn't a huge project, people tend to ignore them, and that's not who we are. We like to spend time to get to know, grow with our partners, and build with our partners. I have one of my team members, Dr. Derek Brutzer, here with me today, and we hope to not just say hello, but be able to engage conversations with everyone. Hats off to all of the students. I know this is mostly for my CIOs, but thank you. You all have done a great job. I want to say not only that, been engaged with a lot of conferences. This is probably one that's special because you do bring in those students there. So thank you to Dr. Dent and to Energy 2. I think you all have done an amazing job here. That's all I had. I asked Dion, could I borrow her mic to do a mic drop? But she told me that was frowned upon, so I'm going to just walk away and say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Travis. Our next speaker is from University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, Ozioma, Okehielem.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, that's better. Thank you. My name is Ozioma Okehielem. Everybody calls me Ozi. I'm a doctoral student in organizational leadership at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And I'm here to share something that I think all of us in higher education should have at the forefront of our minds and conversations, which is cybersecurity leadership and cybersecurity culture. While this is a pilot study, what's it surfaced is real, and I hope that it will resonate. So malware incidents in higher education rose about 157% in a single year. Right now we rank 6th among the most attacked industries on the planet. And the uncomfortable truth is most of those attacks did not happen because of a firewall failure. They happen because of people. Somebody clicked something, somebody shared, someone did not know better. And we have been pouring money into technology for years, and the attacks keep coming. That is because you cannot buy your way out of a culture problem. So in our study, what do? We went and asked the people we don't usually ask, not the CISOs, not the IT directors. We asked the employees, that's faculty, graduate assistants, because some of them handle this data, administrative staff, those people whose daily behavior is either the strongest or the weakest link in your institution's cybersecurity. We conducted semi-structured interviews and analyzed the data using Shane's theory of organizational culture as a lens. I want to be transparent again that this is a pilot study, but the patterns that emerged were striking. All right, 4 themes emerged from this study. The first theme, employees broadly accepted that they had personal responsibility for cybersecurity, but admitted that they had almost no training relevant to their role or a clear policy to act on. One graduate assistant we interviewed handled sensitive data across 3 departments and just simply said, I don't have any training, full stop. The second theme, cybersecurity, was universally delegated to IT. Academic leaders like deans, provosts, department chairs were more or less absent from cybersecurity conversations, at least from the perspective of the employees. The third theme, we had structural gaps all over. There was no standalone policy. Peripheral employees were excluded, and no clear pathways when you needed help. And the theme number 4, which is one that ties everything together, says culture is not a checkbox. These days, institutions tend to complete training modules to check a box, but cybersecurity has not yet, and it needs to become the people's professional way of life, if you will. So here's the heart of the finding. One participant, which is a faculty member, described the leadership situation as clearly as any researcher. He said there is limited visible engagement with cybersecurity, especially by leaders. Institutional cybersecurity is rarely presented as a priority from the academic leaders. An administrative assistant said the same thing, but from a different view. They said, our leader is good about sending messages about specific events. I'm trying to remember if she has done anything regarding IT, but nothing comes to mind. And a graduate assistant, when asked about the cybersecurity policy, simply said, I don't think we have one, at least not in that generic name, maybe embedded somewhere. So this shows that one consistent finding, which is that cybersecurity lives in a silo and leadership has not brought it to the mainstream. So you say, great for me, but so what? I think the main thing that we should take away from this is that cybersecurity culture is not only about technology, it's also about people and habits and values, and the way you build the habits is to make them routine. Thank you.
Awesome. Another interesting presentation. Thank you so much. We're going to keep the lightning talks rolling. Now, Kathryn Kelley is going to come forward. She is from CASC and going to give us a talk today. Please give her a round of applause.
Kathryn Kelley from the Coalition for Academic Scientific Computation. The CASC is a national nonprofit that has existed for 37 years to support research computing and data at the strategy and policy level. We shape how federal agencies and policymakers prioritize RCD funding and programs, and I'm here because that work is incomplete without those of you in the room. CASC serves as a trusted advisor to federal agencies and policymakers, as I mentioned. We're an advocate for RCT investment, and we're a community builder. This is especially critical now as AI reshapes the power map and state and regional hubs become the architecture of what comes next. That function is most valuable when voices shaping it represent the full range of institutions doing research. Just a little bit, this is a picture of CASC members at our spring meeting. The CASC priorities are set by our member institution representatives and span institutional, state, regional, and federal alignment. That's by design. We have 110 institutions, 41 states. Actually, most recently, Washington has been filled in. And yet, who isn't on our map? That's the question that brought me here. I'm going to pick on CASC's R1 institutions as we have to own up to it. The field has documented its own gap. The 2021 CARC Workforce Survey identified that 82% of respondents were at R1 institutions, and HBCUs, MSIs, and tribal colleges are effectively invisible in the best workforce data we have. The data reflects the very access gap that we're trying to measure. The NSF BRICS paper, which was the best paper at PERC 24, named a growing divide between R1s and under-resourced institutions, calling out CASC explicitly as an organization whose model doesn't reach you, and we take that seriously. In a community feedback session that I ran at the 2024 Research Computing for Smaller Institutions, participants described it, and I know you've heard this many times, the fifth co-PI syndrome, where R1s treat smaller institutions as places to deploy ideas that they have already worked out. But the same session named what your institutions bring that R1s often don't. Pedagogy woven into research, a genuine interdisciplinary approach, undergraduates doing publication level work. We want to help change this environment, and we can't do it without your advice. Some of the areas where we're working right now and where your perspective could make us better and help us build a consortia, so to speak. Peer mentoring circles focused on institutional politics, securing resources and career advancements. Right now we have a pilot of 38 in the cohorts. We're looking to expand who's in the next group. We develop position papers every year, 2 to 3, that focus on current federal RCD issues, and we post them on the CASC website. However, I want to share them with your feedback, because right now it definitely exhibits the vantage point of R1 institutions. Federal advocacy, as I mentioned, we need more perspectives at the table. Another thing is the CI Leadership Academy, founded by Henry Neiman. We've been hosting the institutional and national leadership workshops, and the next one will be on state and regional AI hubs, which is that next box, which is in March we hosted an NSF CASC workshop on envisioning near state and regional hubs for educational transformation, and so we really want to develop more of a foundation on what AI and RCD access looks at a state and regional level. CASC members are shaping what those hubs become, and that work needs your institutions in it. So some of the things I wanted to talk with you at the end of the session. So the CI Leadership Academy workshop on the institutional leadership for state and regional hubs will be in October. Travel support will be available through NSF grants. You are invited to stay and participate in the CASC membership meeting, which is right after that. I want to make a little aside about PERC. PERC 26 will be at the end of July. PERC 27 will be coming up, and so we're looking for good committee members. And then, as I mentioned, we're actively designing an affiliate model and advisory board, so I'd rather get it right than get it done fast, and that means hearing from you. What would make CASC generally useful to your organization, and what would give you a real voice in how we set priorities? So I'm listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathryn. Thank you. We are almost end of this lightning session. Last speaker is Hicks from our sponsor, Jetstream 2.
All right, last but hopefully not least this evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hicks. I'm at Indiana University with the Jetstream 2 team, and I'm here this afternoon to tell you a little bit about Jetstream 2 and to encourage you to sign up if you have computation needs. So not long ago, in a past life, I worked with engineers basically every day, and engineers have one of these sayings that they like to use at every opportunity. If you have a part that you need made, you can have it made cheap, you can have it made quickly, or you can have it made high quality, but you have to pick 2 out of the 3. In modern computing challenges, it really feels like we're at a struggle between cost, time on those resources, and the complexity with getting started using those resources. But with Jetstream 2, we take a stab at addressing all 3 of these problems simultaneously. So Jetstream 2 is a cloud computing environment with user-friendliness built at forefront of mind. Jetstream 2 is available for any US-based researchers at absolutely 0 cost, and recently Jetstream 2 expanded its AI capabilities thanks to support from the NAIR pilot program. Jetstream 2, being a cloud research provider, is available on demand 24/7, again at no cost thanks to the National Science Foundation. So you're able to conduct your research on your time. Once you get added to the system, you can launch your computing environment in mere minutes thanks to our push button instance creation. Once you're there, you can decide whether you want to create a CPU-intensive computing environment, GPU if you have AI research that you're working on. If you have large RAM needs, we have instances available for that. And every project starts with 1 terabyte of storage for free with the option to expand your storage based on your project size. Once you're started, Every user has full admin access. You have full sudo access. You can do whatever you want on your computing instance. Every instance gets its own persistent IP address, so you can use these for gateways or for web hosting. And each instance has a graphical desktop environment for those who aren't as comfortable with the command line. So once you launch your computing environment, if you want to use the graphical desktop, you'll be greeted with something like this. And from here, the world is really your oyster. You can launch a terminal and begin your workflow from there. Again, you have full sudo access, so you can install whatever software you would like. You can modify firewall rules, so on and so forth. Each instance also comes with a variety of pre-installed software, including RStudio and MATLAB. Again, all of this at no cost. Some different use cases that people use Jetstream 2 for. There's been a lot of uptick in education use recently. So if you have a small course, you and each of your students can spin up their own computing environment. If you're teaching the course ahead of time, you can go in, create an environment, and configure all the environment variables that you would like the students to have, and then replicate that environment as many times as you would like so that the students can focus on learning your coursework instead of setting up their environment. We also have a lot of capability for different research needs, data analysis, visualization, automated workflows, and again, this is computing on demand, so on your own schedule. We also have the capacity for AI research and education, thanks to a variety of different GPU models that we have. So how do you use Jetstream 2? There are two different pathways. The most common and the easier pathway is to go through Access, which is sort of our parent organization. We're one of many different resource providers under the Access umbrella. And after you sign up for an account, you can get access to Jetstream 2 resources. You are also able to get an account through the NAIR pilot program if your research or your work is primarily AI focused. Either way, you can use those to, again, use Jetstream at no cost to you, thanks to the NSF. Some upcoming events if you'd like to learn more. Obviously, we have the deep dive right after this, a poster session tomorrow, and a variety of different talks and presentations over the next several weeks and months. So if you would like to get into the rhythm of collaboration and learn more and speak with us, here is some contact information both for myself, my collaborators, and the Jetstream 2 support team as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is a time to thank all the speakers. Again, let's give the big round of applause for all the speakers. And without listeners, there is no speakers, right? So thank you all for listening, lightning talk. And we have 10 minutes for transition from here to the next room. And MSCC staff will help you if you need any help. And there are all the speakers. You can go and whatever the questions you have, you can ask them, right? Next 1 hour, deep dive, right? So thank you all. Thank you.